Hello and welcome to the Tiny Human Knits podcast, my podcast all about knitting, sewing, crochet, cross stitch, and all manner of crafty goodness. My name is Laura and you can find me as Tiny Human Knits on Instagram, Ravelry, YouTube, and Etsy. I have an Etsy shop on Etsy, and I've got a couple of my self-draping colorways in there right now. I will show you a bit more of that at the end. It has been 2 months since my last podcast. If you watched my last podcast, you know that I went to New Brunswick for Christmas, which I am in Alberta, Canada. I'm back in high level actually now, which is a new development since last as well, but I did talk about that before. I was moving back to high level. I'm moved in with my boyfriend now, and that's all good. It's not entirely set up. I still have half of my stuff that I left behind in Calgary, but we're going to get that at the end of the month. But I went to New Brunswick for a month. We drove there. It was a very long drive, and yeah, it was interesting. I'll talk about more. I'll talk about that more at the end. I also don't know how much editing I'm going to be able to do with this episode because I don't have proper internet yet, and I actually don't have my computer either. So I'm going to do a little bit of editing maybe on either my phone or my boyfriend's computer. His isn't very good though, so we'll see how that goes. So I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't have show notes because I never have show notes because that's how I roll. I'm gonna lose my train of thought. I also totally forgot about the knit along that I was hosting last year, the Make From Stash. I'm gonna close that thread today. Technically it was supposed to be closed like a month ago, but I forgot. And so I'm gonna close that thread, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw winners and contact them directly instead of doing it on here. That way I know that you know about it, and I will have a prize for you. I think I'm going to have a couple that you can choose from. I'm going to do a couple prizes. Some might be patterns, but I'm going to contact whoever I choose, and then you'll be able to pick your prize. I'll have a couple. I have some things that that can go out as prizes. Like, I have so much yarn. I have so much yarn that I have plenty that can go out as a prize for that. So yeah, apologies, this is discombobulated. I'm going to try to do this as best I can. I have 11 finished objects since the last time you saw me. I only have 9 of them with me, so, you know, it won't be a million years long of just finished objects. But to start off with, I don't want this to go unsaid. And I'm sure there's some of you who know where it's coming up. There have been a lot of discussions on Instagram and other platforms as well, YouTube, other media platforms, about the racism in the knitting community. And I'm just going to put this at the top. If you don't think that there's a problem with that, or you want people to stop talking about it, or you feel like you're being bullied, just stop watching now, because that is not the kind of environment I want for this channel. I support all makers. It doesn't matter where you're from, what color your skin is, what language you speak. I want this to be an environment that is safe for everyone to be in. And if you have a problem with that, just go. Leave, unsubscribe, put a thumbs down. If you feel the need to make a comment about it and leave in a dramatic fashion, don't, because that's fine. You can go. It doesn't matter. I want this to be as a supportive place as possible. And for me, and that means something different for everyone. Like, we're all learning, we're all discussing, we're all going through this together. And I feel like we'll be so much stronger if we do this together and not just shut it out and pretend it doesn't exist, because it does. And this is coming from I'm so white, it's unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I'm actually of a Mennonite background, so that's like the whitest people you can get, besides the fact. But I want this to be a place where anyone can feel comfortable. If you are a member of the LGBTQIA community, if you're a member of a BIPOC community, if you are disabled, if you are anything, it doesn't matter. I want you here because I love making and I love other people's making. So And I want to be a part of your crafting life, you know? Like, I want to be exchanging ideas with people, exchanging funny stories of your knitting going awry. I want all of that together. And it's going to take a lot of work. I absolutely need a lot of work. This is very important, and I'm going to keep talking about it in future episodes because it is important. Pardon me. I haven't really talked much today. Pardon me. But yes, I have a hard time talking about, well, anything really. Especially stuff where people are being marginalized and talked down to, because I get angry really easily. This is a problem I've had all my life. I'm very short-tempered, but that wasn't the most eloquent way I could have said it, but I hope my intentions are clear. If there's anything on this channel that is problematic or can be addressed that I am just too to realize, I would love if someone let me know. But yeah, that's a poorly said spiel. Sorry, I'm incensed. Anyway, now I'm going to do an awkward segue, and this might not be a great podcast. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Yeah, awkward segue. I have started a new knit along. I was going to mention on Instagram, but it seemed sort of, I don't want to say frivolous, but like sort of off topic. No, that's not. No. I've started a new knit along on Ravelry, and it is the Marie Wallen knit along. I don't know if it's going to be 6 months or a year. Sorry if I'm swiveling and if it's annoying. Sorry for the ums. It's been a while since I did this. So yes, it's the Marie Wallen knit along. It is knit anything that Marie Wallen has designed, and this is pretty much for me to be motivated to knit my Marie Wallen patterns that I have chosen for this year in my Make 9. I've got 3 patterns in my Make 9 that are designed by Marie Wallen. 2 are all over, nope, that's a lie. 1 is an all over colorwork sweater. 1 is a yoked colorwork sweater, and 1 is a DK weight top, which is really feminine and delicate and lovely. So anything out of her books, I have a couple books that I bought myself that I actually haven't even had a chance to really look through because it's been busy. But yes, so if you have a Marie Wallen pattern, it doesn't matter if it's just an accessories, sweaters, household stuff. I know she has a lot of really nice household patterns. Anything like that is welcome in the knit along, and that has started already. There's a chatter thread in my Ravelry group for it, which I will have links down below for. One of the dogs is outside the door. They're not allowed in this room. We're hosting another puppy right now. His name is Harvey, but Gus is our full-time puppy, and he isn't allowed in here because he sheds like a beast. Anyway, Marie Wallen knit along. There's a chatter thread open, and the prize at the end will be, I've decided, I think, $100 Canadian dollar gift card for the Holst website. Because I know Holst yarn is very good for color work, and Marie Wallen's patterns are mostly color work, and you can get quite a bit for that amount of money. So I ordered a lot during their Black Friday sale, and now I just have a lot of Holst yarn. Okay. I'm sure I've missed like a million things, and I'll find that out when I watch it back, but who knows, I might film this again. I don't know. But I have, as I said, 11 finished objects since you last saw me. I only have 9 of them here. 2 of them were gifts for Christmas, so I made a pair of men's socks for my boyfriend's dad, and I made that out of West Yorkshire spinners in a nice burnt orange colorway. They were one of the most annoying pairs of socks I've ever made, and I'm not entirely sure why. I think because I went down to a 2mm needle and did a 72 stitch sock with a ribbed detail. It took forever. Oh my gosh, it took so long to knit it. It was ridiculous. But I finished it before Christmas and he really liked them. So there's that. Yeah, that just tedious. And then the next thing was another pair of Grove mittens that I made for my boyfriend's sister for Christmas, and she really enjoyed those. I made that out of a skein of yarn from my own shop, and yeah, that was pair number 6. I'm going to be casting on another pair because my friend Taryn wants to knit a pair herself, and yeah, can never have too many Grove mittens, and it'll probably be easier for her to see a visual sort of representation of some of the techniques that you use in that pattern. But now I'm going to go through the other 9 that I have finished. And the first 5 are pairs of socks. So I'm going to show you my pairs of socks that I have knit. And I'm not going to be bothering putting them on a sock blocker because that's just going to take too long and be too cumbersome. But all of these are knit on 2.25 millimeter needles, and they're all 56 stitch. Yes, they're all 56 stitch in the round. And yeah, usually I have been a toe-up sock knitter since I started making socks. And all of a sudden, and I'm not entirely sure why, almost all of my socks are cuffed down with a heel flap and gusset. I think it's because I've been knitting a lot of self-striping, and I don't like an afterthought or a short row heel. So it's easier for me to do heel flap and gusset, because then it shortens your rows, but it doesn't disrupt them. I think that's probably it. Plus, I found that they fit me so well, which is worth the extra effort. So I'm going to do these, I think, in the order that I knit them in. So the first pair is my scrappy sock yarn. And this was a 12 striper that I had in the shop. I sold out before, and then I did more for my update that was this past weekend, and I sold out. But I am working on a scrappy sock version too. So I think what I might do is my next shop update, I might have a few sets of the first and second versions together. So if you missed the first one, you can get them as a set, the 2 of them together. But this is 12 stripes, and it's got just a 2x2 cuff. I do the heel flap and gusset from the Hermione's Everyday sock because it's my favorite. I love the garter ridge, and it looks really nice. So there's the set. And I really like these. I did just, that's just great mini skein for the heels, toes, and cuff. And yeah, I've pretty much got my recipe down. And what's nice about these is I do the leg just as long as I feel like doing, really. For my 12 striper, I try to do a full repeat. This one isn't quite a full repeat because a full repeat is here to here. But yeah, I really like those. And then the next pair is also my yarn, and this is wrapping paper. And with this one, I just did a simple garter ridge section down the front of the sock, which I think is really, really cute, and it makes it just look really nice when you wear it. And this was one of my Christmas colorways for this past Christmas. And I did alternating heels and toes for the color, just because they look like, you know, they're Christmas socks, and I just think they're really cute. And I have the same heel for that one. And there's that. I haven't worn any of these socks yet because I have decided that I have like 6 pairs of hand knit socks right now, and they're all starting to look a little worn because I haven't really made new socks for myself in the past year, like last year. And what I want to do is kind of like a box of socks from Vine situation, where I make myself a bunch of socks, don't wear them, and then I'll have a box of socks that I'll start wearing next winter, I think. Because, yeah, the ones I have now are starting to look a little ratty. There's one that's almost got a hole in it, so I should darn that really soon. And they've been washed and worn so often, there's not very many of them, so they get worn through faster. So what I'm going to do is knit myself a ton of socks, and then I'll have a bunch of fresh pairs. So the next one is, I did this one toe up, and these are my colorway as well. They are called Hoarfrost. I had some in the shop. I sold out, but I will be doing more for my next shop update at the end of February. And this is just a 2-striper, and I think it's beautiful. And yeah, it's just a toe up. This one I did a fleagle heel in, so you just increase the gusset and then do short row decreases. Yeah, I really like this pair. It's very delicate. So the next 2 pairs are Patton's Croy. First off, we have our blue rag, which is like a standard among knitters. This one is very popular. I really like this yarn. I made a pair of socks in this yarn for a friend of mine over the summer, and I really, really liked it. So I wanted some of my own. So there's 2 socks. And this one I did a heel flap and gusset as well, and I just used a gray marled croy that I have specifically for heels, toes, and cuffs. And this yarn and the next pair, I bought the yarn when I was in New Brunswick. I actually have quite a bit of stuff that I've already knit from the yarn I bought in New Brunswick. And this pair I finished actually 2 days ago. And this is another Patton's Croy. And then I have just a plain black that I do the heel flap for. And I think, so these are the ones that I've done so far. 4 of them have a heel flap and gusset, and the next 2 pairs of socks that I'm knitting right now also are going to have a heel flap and gusset. The next 2, I think I'm going to do a longer heel flap. I think I might have a high instep, but I haven't really checked what exactly that entails. But I think I might. So I'm going to try just like 1 pair first with a longer heel flap and see how that fits. Because it can get a little bit tight right here, so I wouldn't mind a few extra stitches there. Also, I have a size 6.5 shoe, so foot size. So for me, I only have to buy 1 ball of Patton's Croy, and then with a contrast heel, and this is just a contrast heel. This is just 1 ball of yarn. So if you have a contrast color that you can use for heels, toes, and cuffs, you can get a whole pair of socks out of just one ball. All you need to do to make sure they match like these do is check exactly how long the color is before the next color starts. And generally for me, I can just knit this, and then I'll knit until right before that same thing starts again. So I had a little bit left over, and I only had to cut a little bit out for the second sock, so I think they're fabulous. So those are my 5 pairs of socks. No, isn't this exciting? The next ones are sweaters, so they're a lot more interesting. And so, okay, this one might look a little bit worn because I actually have worn it so much that I've had to depill it twice. And this is my Weekender, and that is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, which is amazing. I'm just going to pull some fluff off of it because I'm a cool kid. You know how it goes. Oh, the inside of this is so pilly. It's actually a little bit ridiculous, but that's neither here nor there. So here is my Weekender. It is a fantastic pattern that is so simple and straightforward and lovely. I only did 3/4 length sleeves because I only had 4 balls of yarn. This is knit out of Patton's Classic Wool, which is an incredibly affordable yarn, especially when I got it. I got it for $3 a ball because they were clearing it out of the store that I got it at in New Brunswick. And so this is a $12 sweater. And I really like Patton's Classic Wool. If you're sensitive to wool, it's not the best, but I am very used to the texture of wool. So my Weekender, I had to do the 3 needle bind off on the edges here twice because I had originally done it a little bit too tight. Even though I had gone up a needle size, I did a little bit too tight. So I had to unpick it and do it again. And then I also had to, I had done the, what did I do? Nope, it was just that. And then I did the there's a tubular bind off at the top here, and I did the Pearl Soho sewn tubular bind off that I found a tutorial for, that if I remember to, I will link it down below. It is fantastic. It's so easy to follow, and it makes so much sense, and it's actually really therapeutic. I really enjoyed doing the bind off. I actually looked forward to doing it at the end, because it was just so just fun. I did have to do the bottom hem. It is a split hem, but I didn't do the back longer because I'm a shorty pants and it doesn't really matter what it is. Anyway, but I did a tubular cast on when I started. I did the ribbing, I joined afterwards, and at the end when I was trying it on, and I had a suspicion that this was going to have to happen, I knew the bottom was too tight. So what I did is I actually, instead of just unpicking or like cutting off the bind off, I just cut off the entire ribbing to the point where I joined it, and then knit the ribbing again. And then at the end I did the sewn bind off, and it looks much better. It fits much better. So don't be afraid to screw up your knitting. You can fix it for the most part, I think. If I were to make it again for myself, I would probably even make the sleeves a little bit shorter, because for my own personal preference, in this thick wool anyway, if it was a fingering weight, I don't mind sleeves that come up to here, but if it's a thicker one, I kind of want them to be right above my elbows. I don't like having anything, I don't like having cuffs right here, and that's because when I'm knitting, I don't like having anything near my wrist, so I like to just cut the sleeve short, and that's what I'm doing on like all my sweaters, so, because I'm just going to push them up anyway, so it doesn't matter. But a thicker weight I think next time, because it just kind of bunches up at the elbow and I don't really like that, but I love the pattern. I actually have ordered some Knit Picks Stroll to hold double for a second weekender, and that will be for my sister for Christmas, because I would like to start doing Christmas presents right away here. I've got a sweater that I want to make for my mom that I've had the yarn for almost a year, I think. So if I start that like now, I might be done by Christmas time. Is February too early to start Christmas presents? I don't think it is. Okay, so the next thing I made was a cardamom coffee hat, and that is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and I love it so much. The funny thing about this is I knitted out of, this is inside, I knitted out of Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight, and I think I might have the colorway numbers on my Ravelry page. I'm trying to keep really good track of my projects on Ravelry, so everything is up on there. And I also got a snap-on pom-pom. I bought this at Stash in Calgary. Does that make sense? Stash? The big yarn store in Calgary. It's fancy. I love this pom-pom and I want more of them. So the next time I'm near a store that sells them, I want to buy a bunch, because I finished this hat, I finished knitting it, and then I blocked it, and I didn't care for it at all. I thought it looked weird on my head, and I just thought it just looked strange. And then, as soon as I sewed this pom-pom on, I love it. It made this hat. It's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. And I'm also using this as the gauge swatch for my my first Marie Wallem cast on, which is going to be the Lovage pattern. And I'm going to be knitting it out of Jameson 2-ply. And my gauge is a lot smaller, but I don't want to go any higher than this, because, or like in needle size, because I think it would be far too loose and I wouldn't like it as a sweater. So I'm going to use this as an amazing gauge swatch, and then I'll calculate a way to size it in a way that's going to fit me. And I'm also changing it. It's technically a bottom-up pattern, but I'm going to be knitting it top-down, because that way I can actually try it on as I go. I think I've learned my lesson when it comes to yoked sweaters. Top-down is the way to go, because then I can at least figure it out. Cool. So, pardon me. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. Again, all information is up on my Ravelry page, so you can see what colors I used. I think I'm going to be making another one of these because it is quite fun. I even like the twisted rib at the bottom. It's just twisted knit stitches, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it's fun color work. The floats aren't too long, and there's only 2 colors per stripe, which is dandy. I'm really looking forward to the Marie Wallin patterns that I have, because it's all just two colors per stripe. I just finished, one of my finished projects I don't actually have with me because it's being worn right now. I made my boyfriend the For Fox's Sake sweater, and so I'll save that one for next time, because then I'll actually have a finished object to talk about, because I don't know how much knitting I'm actually going to get done. So he's wearing that proudly to work today, and he absolutely adores it. That sweater is fantastic, but it is 3 color stranded color work over very long floats. Very long floats. And so something like this seems so easy. I'm going to be quite the color work knitter by the time this year is over, I can tell you that. So, Cardamom Coffee by Kate 100. And, let me put that there. My last finished objects that I can show you today, and I'm really happy with this sweater. This was a labor of love. So I cast on, need to snip that end, and finished the Siri sweater. And I cannot for the life of me remember the designer's name. Sorry. I'll have that link below, and it's on my Ravelry page. So I've been wanting to make this, especially as a pullover, ever since Molly of a Homespun House knit hers like 2 years ago, was that? A long time ago. And I've always thought it was so pretty. And so when I was in New Brunswick, I picked up actually quite a bit of yarn. But the funny thing is, I've knit almost all of it. I thought I was buying too much, but I think I've knit almost I've got like 2 sweater quantities left of the stuff that I bought there. But anyway, this is knit out of Rowan hemp tweed. So it's a mixture of merino and hemp, which I think is fantastic. It gives it a lovely texture. And it's just lovely. It's gorgeous. Anyway, so it is a yoked sweater, a textured yoke. And as you can see, the texture is fantastic. It did hurt my hands to knit, though. It's a lot of twisting your stitches. So you don't have to use a cable needle or anything like that, but it's fiddly. So it hurt my hands a bit to knit, but it was so worth it because the finished product is amazing. Yeah, I don't know what else to say besides it's gorgeous. I didn't do the short row shaping because I find short row shaping doesn't really do anything for me. The way I'm very flat chested, so I don't have anything to sort of push the neck up in the front, and yeah, I'm also very short torsoed, like incredibly short torsoed. So it's just, I don't necessarily need that extra length in the back. So I didn't include it. So I love this sweater so much. It seems so fancy to me, because I don't normally knit sweaters for myself that are that price point. I have a tendency to knit a lot more. Either it's my own hand-dyed yarn, or I use a lot of Patton's classic wool, or Knit Picks a lot. So this seems a little bit like a luxury item, and I'm really happy with it. I have one whole ball left, but that's already been claimed for a future project. And yeah, so these are actually bracelet length sleeves, so they come about right here, which is perfect for me, especially for a fitted sleeve. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I knit this after my weekender, so the collar, which I still have an end that needs to be clipped, the collar and the cuffs I did as the tubular bind off, the same one, the Pearl Soho tubular bind off that I did before. And I love this. I love this so much. It's so pretty. And it's gonna get a lot of wear. It's nice and hefty, like it has a good weight to it, but it's still nice and drapey. And I just love it. I love it so much. As some of my people stuff. But yeah. And then, like I said, I also finished the For Fox's Sake sweater, and I will show that next time. I can't fold anything, apparently. Oh, just talk amongst yourselves as I fold this badly. It's like I've been watching Marie Kondo for nothing. Okay, now I only have 3 works in progress, which I'm actually quite happy about, because I found sometimes I've had a lot of projects and then it just sort of overwhelms me and I get all weird. But 2 of them are socks, and as per usual, I'm holding them in my own project bags. So the first one I am knitting out of Yarning Apart Sport Weight yarn, and this is in the marble colorway, I believe. I'm like 99% sure this is the marble colorway. And I bought this specifically for the pattern that I'm working on now, and that is I'm reworking a cabled sock pattern, just my own design that I did last year in January for somebody else, and now I wanted a pair for myself. I'm just on the heel flap right now, so I'm doing the same Hermione's Everyday, same, what's it called? I have partridge heel. And so it's got a 2x2 rib and then just a simple cable on the front. And yeah, I'm just knitting it up for fun. And also, a pair of sport weight socks sounds delightful because we don't keep heating on in our house very high. We only keep it to about 18 degrees, so you know, nice warm socks. And I'm knitting those on a 2.75mm needle, 56 stitches. I think for stockinette sock, if I was going to do sport weight, 56 might be too much, but because there's cables, it brings it in still a little bit. And I'm really excited for these because they're going to be so squishy and lovely. I love it. So that's my first project. My second is another pair of socks. I cast these on yesterday. I cast both of these on yesterday. I'm not doing any shop work right now because I'm going to, I think what I'm going to be doing is like 2 weeks on, 1 week off, because I get really tunnel vision when it comes to especially self-striping, which is what I'm going to be focusing on more than like full skeins of yarn. I'm going to be doing mostly self-striping for the foreseeable future. And I'll talk more about that later. So I'm knitting up a sample of my second scrappy sock yarn. So this is pretty much a full repeat, and I can show you. I was actually kind of worried they might be too similar, but I think they're different enough. But yeah, so this is the type of thing that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to continue doing different versions of because I find it really fun. This is essentially just a way for me to play with all of the colors that I've been using. But yeah, this is the scrappy sock yarn ball. And it smells like laundry because I've got a fabric softener sheet in this bag, which is delightful. But yeah, just another top down 56 stitch. I'm going to do a longer heel flap on this one. So I think I'm going to do 20 stitches on either side instead of 16, because I normally do 16, just to see the difference. But yeah, not much else to say. 2.25mm Addy Turbo needles, the same I use for everything. I've got almost exclusively Addies. I also got some Hayas from a lovely viewer who sent me some, and I sent her a bag in exchange. And yeah, I don't use those much. I try to, but I haven't gotten used to how sharp they are, because they are sharp. Holy jeepers. Anyway, my last project, it's got dog hair all over it. And this project I'm knitting out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes on the Mink Heather colorway. And here's my gauge swatch if anyone is interested. I knit gauge swatches that aren't the right size for one, but also if I didn't get gauge with that swatch, I guess. So this one I think was tighter than it should have been, so I'm like, well, I think this size needle will be good enough, and I just cast on with wild abandon. Because that's how I roll. And also, like, for me, I'm trying to knit, like, the bigger sizes, just because, oh, there they are, haha, perfect. So I cast on the White Horse sweater. This is a sweater by Caitlin Hunter as well. I sort of cast this on while I was knitting when I was knitting my For Fox's Sake sweater, and then I started working, so it has kind of just been sitting for a while, but this is how far I am. I'm about halfway through the chart, and yeah, I think this is going to be a fun thing to work on. I'm going to be bringing this, we're going to Nashville, my boyfriend and I, we're going to Nashville on, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, so the 17th. So I'm going to keep this for, I think mostly for airplane knitting, because I can just unclip the needles. Oh, I already did. I can just unclip the needle tips and put them in my notions pouch, and then they should be fine. So I'm going to keep this. It's got some baubles on it, which I think are really cute. And yeah, I'm really excited. This is very wearable with like dresses and skirts and stuff. And it's got dog hair all over it. So yeah, it's by Caitlin Hunter out of Knit Picks Wool, which I have a lot of. So I'm going to use that up and try to. And right now, and I should be able to keep this in pretty long term, I have that on my Blueberry Fields project bag that I have a Ninja Chickens pin on, because she sent me one when I ordered one of her sock flanks. And yeah, I also have a project I'm going to be casting on today, and that is a pair of socks for my boyfriend, because 'tis the season. It's time. It's time for some socks. And like a classic, I'm making it out of this colorway again. This is the gray brown marl in the Patton's Croy sock. It is my absolute 100% favorite colorway from Patton's Croy. I have a pair in this colorway. My cousin has a pair in this colorway. I made a pair for my ex-husband in this colorway, and I have another ball, so a third ball, to make another pair for myself with a heel flap and gusset instead of the Fleego heel that the first pair has. So I like this color. If Patton's Croy had nothing but this color, I would still buy a ton. Just everybody gets pairs of socks in this color. So I'm going to be casting those on today because they're going to be for his birthday, which is next week. So yeah, I'm going to try to finish those this weekend. And then I also wanted to cast on another sample pair of socks from my latest update, and that is the Funeral Flowers colorway. And that is this one right here. It's also probably got some dog hair on it. And this is, like I said, it's called Funeral Flowers, and it is based on a floral arrangement that is in a scene in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And as soon as I saw that on there, I knew I had to dye a colorway that way. I should try to take a picture of that scene to put it up on as a comparison, but we'll see. But yeah, I have that ready to go in this nice little sack. But I don't know if I'm going to get to that first, because I do want to knit the pair of socks for my boyfriend really quickly here, because I know I can make a pair for him in a weekend if I really put my mind to it. So I'm going to try to do that. But we'll see how that goes. That'll probably be on the needles by the next time I talk to you guys. But that is all of my works in progress, I think, right now. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I have anything else. But my White Horse sweater is my third sweater on my Make 9, which I'm really excited about, because that means maybe by the end of this month I can have 3 of my 9 done, and that's pretty good going, especially since 2 of them are going to be Marie Wallin or colorwork sweaters, so those might take longer. Fingering my colorwork sweaters. The one I want to make, I think it's called no, not the Lapwing. Is it Lapwing? No. What's it called? The one I want to make that's on my Make 9, that's all over colorwork, is technically knit back and forth, like knit and purl, and that's not happening. So I'm gonna do, I think I might try steeking. So I'm gonna do it in the round and steek armholes. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna be making it out of Holst garn, so I think it'll be fine for steeking. And, you know, Tommy of Dynamite Trujillo is doing it, so I can too, right? I think that's how it goes. Steeking is not a problem. I'm not afraid of cutting my knitting. It'll be fine. I'll work it out. It's fine. Plus, if you cut it for armholes, if you completely screw it up, you can just unravel it to the body again, is my logic. Anyway, so I have a lot of acquisitions, but I don't think I'll be talking about them here. I might talk about a few things next episode, special items and such, just to showcase a few people's lovely yarns, but this time might be a little bit long for that. But I will do a quick update on what's left in my shop. I've got some self-striping colorways that are left, and I will show you really quick. All of these, they will be coming, they come in skein form, or like this. Because I have found that winding them into gobstoppers is incredibly time consuming, and also makes my hands hurt a lot. They cramp up weird and they like zap. It's really weird. But so I'm going to be doing all of my self-striping come in that form. I will be having a few like special kits and stuff this year sometime, and those will be coming in gobstopper form. Also, this might be like crazy early to talk about it, but I'm already planning my advent calendars for this year, and I'm pretty sure I've narrowed it down to, I'm going to be doing like a proper advent where it's the 4 Sundays before Christmas, so 4 days, and each advent day is going to have a different self-striping sock set. So the first advent will be a 2-striper, and then there'll be a 4-striper, a 6-striper, and then a 12-striper for the last one. And so if that sounds interesting to you, let me know. It's going to come with a mini skein set that you can mix and match your self-stripings with, and I will be doing a 50 gram with a mini skein, and then also 100 grams, so depending on the size of shoe size you have. If you only need a 50 gram like me, then you can just get the 50 gram set, and then it'll come with extra goodies and stuff. So I'm planning that out right now. So yeah, again, if that sounds interesting to you, let me know. And yeah, so these are the ones I have in the shop still right now. So this is Citron. This is On the Rack. Goldilocks. This is a color from last year that I dyed again. That's not even the right color. Oh. This is Folklore. This is Barn Loft. I have got some Almond Roca. And I also have, I think, 2 skeins of Sweet Talker. And this is a very, very pastel light color. I also have one called 01.23, but I don't have it in the gobstopper form right now because this one's wrong. I tweaked the color from the one I have, so that's not in the shop even. But yeah, that's what's in the shop. I also have, I've got a couple project bags, but not very many. I haven't had a chance to make any more in the last few months because I've been busy. And speaking of that, we can segue into what's happening. So yeah, my boyfriend and I, we drove to New Brunswick, and weirdest thing, usually when I was living in Edmonton, if you came to the northern part of Alberta where I live now, you can almost never drive here in the winter without having incredibly shitty roads or a snowstorm. Like something would happen weather-wise where it was just awful. Our entire trip from Calgary to New Brunswick, no snow. The roads were dry and clear, and it was fantastic. We slept in the truck 2 nights out of the 3 on our way to New Brunswick, which is an interesting sort of thing. Ooh, speaking of that though, if you plan on sleeping in a vehicle in the winter, anywhere, I don't know. It was about -15 when we slept in Celsius when we slept in the truck. The no frills sweater, the one that you hold fingering weight and mohair, is the perfect sleeping sweater. I was so warm the whole time. I never got that cold. Like I had my knit socks, and then I had like reading socks over those big plush ones, and leggings, and then my petite knits no frill sweater on with a hat. And I was so toasty. It was amazing. It just, mohair is amazing. So if you're planning on doing like winter camping, make yourself a no frills because it's perfect. So yeah, that was interesting, especially when you have 2 full-grown adults. I mean, shorty pants, but and a dog in the back seat, or in the sort of like back, yeah, you know. It's interesting. Wouldn't particularly recommend it, but it's character building, I'm sure. So we were there for about a month in New Brunswick. I can't say I enjoyed myself all that much. It would have been different if we were visiting for a short time and like just hanging out for like a week or so, but we were there for a month. I get a little bit cabin fevery. Even if I just have knitting to do, I have to work on something. Like I didn't have my shop anything with me. I just had like this my shop supplies, like what was in the shop with me, and I get really antsy if I'm not being productive in that way. So I did get, it was difficult for me for sure, and I didn't particularly care for it. But like again, it would have been a lot better if it was just a visit. I got to go to the what is it? Can't remember. I got new IKEA cabinets, by the way. Aren't they beautiful? Briggs and Little. I got to go to the Briggs and Little mill because it's like 30 minutes away from Fredericton where we were. And I bought so much yarn because it's so inexpensive. I think I'll have an option for a prize for my make from stash be some of this in case someone likes really woolly wool, because it is really woolly wool. This would make an amazing outer garment. I bought a lot of it because it was actually only $5.75 per skein, which is crazy cheap. So I bought a lot of that. I also had my birthday there. I turned 30, which was very exciting in theory. I love being 30. I love it. I've been looking forward to being 30 for a long time. It's like waiting for all my gray hair to come in. I'm just like so excited about it. But it was sort of a lackluster birthday. We didn't really do anything, and it was just sort of like, bleh. The weather was crappy. But I have a tendency to do that though. Like when it comes to special occasions, Christmas, birthdays, whatever, I always like, I overhype it in my mind, and then it turns out to be like not that great. And then we drove back. We didn't really do much there. We drove back. We picked up a bunch of my stuff from my house in Calgary, so most of my like, it was mostly my shop stuff, like all my shop supplies, dyeing material. And then when we got here, I had ordered more yarn and got to work. So pretty much the last 2 weeks were just working. And as some of you may know, self-striping takes a long time and a lot of effort. And yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. I don't think anything else really happened. I'm not a very adventurous person particularly. But yeah, we are going to Nashville next Sunday, which is interesting. I've never been to the States before. And I'm kind of excited more in a way for the fact that we've had like -30, -40 degrees Celsius weather for the past like week and a half. And I'm just looking forward to going to Nashville where, you know, like it's 10 degrees or whatever. And that sounds really nice. So that'll be fun. And I'm going to bring some socks with me. We're just going for 5 days, and then we'll come back, and then we're going to pick up the rest of my stuff from Calgary, and then I have to go to my ex's house and pick up my stuff from there, and then I'll be pretty much moved in here, and this room is going to be so packed and delicious. It's going to be full of yarn and all the good stuff. It's going to have just, I'm big into like shelving baskets for 1, 2, all of them. I want all the baskets. And I love having stuff on the walls. Like I'm going to put my patterns up on the walls like I have before, and I've got a bunch of pictures that I got printed out that I want to put up on my walls, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm looking forward to this room being like my cozy little getaway spot, because The rest of the house has got a layer of dog hair on it, and it smells kind of funny because we have a dog, and he's adorable. He's such a goof. He is so awkward. He's the most awkward dog I've ever seen in my life, and he's so funny. Except when you get him, like, playing fetch, because then he's a pro. I'm going to be putting, hopefully, the video of all of the little snippets that I took from our drive to New Brunswick, and then a little bit of being in New Brunswick. I didn't take any footage coming back because it's all just, it's the same view but in reverse, so it doesn't matter. But that was quite fun. I think there's some really good stuff in there, and I'm really excited about that. So hopefully I can get that up soon. If not, it'll be at the end of February, because then I can pick up my old computer that has my editing program on it already. And yeah, this has been fun. It's been a long time. Hopefully I can get to a regular schedule. It'll probably still be every 2 weeks because I don't think I have the brain space or the knitting time to do it every week. Especially if I'm trying to do, like I said, 2 weeks on, 1 week off. So it'll be 2 weeks straight of working, and then I'll have 1 week of knitting. So we'll see how that goes. It might be like, I might be able to finagle it somehow else, but I don't know. Yeah. If you guys have any questions of what happened in my trip, like if I completely forgot something, let me know, because I am a little bit scatterbrained at the best of times. So I'm going to go and finish some socks, cast some more socks, because, 3 pairs of socks on the needles at once is totally amazing. So I'm going to do that. And then, yeah, I will see you guys next time, and be good to each other. And